bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio. For the masses. Yeah. How you doing? How you doing? Today's Tuesday, January 8th, 2019. 8 days into the new year. 357 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? Got a great show lined up, man. Last night, Isaac Arthur was amazing. Tonight, Carolyn Ford is here. Einstein. Now, if you look, Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. Now, if you look to my right, you can see my lineup of crystal skulls right here. Check it out. They're all here. We're going to go through all of that tonight. And, yeah, how cool is that? Look at that. I mean, just look. You know, this is one that has never been seen before. Check this guy out. Look at that. It's massive. Just look at that. Is that the coolest ever? Look at that. You know, it's the detail too. It's unbelievably just cool. Look at that. So, anyway, weighs about 10 pounds. Yeah, that's how heavy it is. It's crazy. Yeah. Tonight, Carolyn Ford. Tomorrow night, David Wilcock is here to cap off an amazing week. Last night, Isaac Arthur. Tonight, Carolyn Ford. 2 first-time guests. David Wilcock's going to be back. We're going to talk about 2018, 2019. Thursday night's another Fader night with Teresa Yanneris. She's going to be here. Divine Frequency on the airwaves, followed by open lines all night long. It's going to be a great week. Great week. All right. So there you go. You know what to do. Head over. Now, the new website is up and running. And as you go and check it out, if you are there now, you'll probably go, well, it looks, it is completely different. I wanted it to be aesthetically, basically the same. The engine behind it is incredible, and ease of use for everything. And if you were on the website today, we saw it changing around and things were getting adjusted. And Drew said to me, he goes, now you got to tell everybody I'm going to be working on it, but by Monday, by the end of the weekend, it's going to be perfect. Okay, so there you go. Everything is there. It should be smooth. If you have any issues, you can certainly let Drew know. And there's an email for Drew on the website somewhere, and you can go and find that and go and email Drew. And there you go. Okay, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's very fast. That's the thing. It's very, very, very fast. So with the membership and T-shirts, we're going to expand the shopping experience and some new products and stuff. Those are all going to go in there. And we've got some new images and some other things that will be thrown in. But there you go. And it should be good. And I didn't check the bunker cam, but I'm assuming with all of the pictures of me right now that are flying all over Twitter that there is no issues with the bunker cam. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to get out of that before I get all absorbed into what's happening. But there it is, the new site. It's pretty cool. And I want to thank Drew for all of his hard work. All right. And so while you are there on Stellar, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, go follow, like, and subscribe. It's all right there. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Any questions or comments? Hashtag F2BQ. Simple. And then, of course, the sandbox, which is hashtag F2B. All right, there you go. You can also email throughout the show, Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com. All right, we got a lot of breaking news to get to, so let me jump straight into this. Two things went down on TV, right? Because now it's officially 7:07 Pacific time. One is the premiere of Project Blue Book on History Channel. And if you are here listening to my voice, that means you have either already watched it if you're on the East Coast, I think, right? Is that right? Or we get it earlier because we're on the West Coast and then the East Coast. I don't even know. I don't know how that works. But certainly you are recording it. We are. And I will review the show tomorrow. Right? Okay. So there you go. There's that. And the other thing that happened tonight was President Trump's Oval Office address to the country on border security. And I'll just let all of you know, I was busy during that in the bunker, and I didn't get a chance to watch it. And so I don't have any comments. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was doing a sound check with Carolyn for the show tonight. So that got missed. So there you go. But tons of other breaking news today. SpaceX founder and CEO Elon Musk has announced that the SpaceX Starship test is going to happen in 4 to 8 weeks. The flight is a test run for the spaceship intended to bring people to Mars for colonization. And the images that he posted today of this thing is Buck Rogers. It looks like a spaceship from the 1950s that you saw in the B movies with the string on it, with the sparklers coming out of the back. That's what it looks like. It looks pretty dang cool. But he says that this is the test version, that the real version is going to have the full-on Windows setup. There's going to be Windows all over this thing. So what they are going to be testing is what he posted the pictures of, and it looks like Buck Rogers. It's really cool. Really cool. Straight out of the 1950s. I don't know if that's intentional or if that is actually by design, and that's the way it needed to be, but it is very cool looking. It's called the SpaceX Starship, and you can go and Google it. Just Google SpaceX Starship and look at what he got out there today on Twitter and Instagram. It's pretty amazing. Pretty big, too, by the way. It's going to be powered by his new motor that they're going to be testing in 4 weeks. So, and that testing is happening now. Some ginormous motor. Also today, if that wasn't big enough, following an invitation by Chinese President Xi Jinping, North Korean leader Kim Fatty Fat made his 4th trip to China earlier today, which is also his birthday. Now, after blowing out 36 candles, He went on to eat his entire 6-foot-tall, 250-pound birthday cake all by himself. There you go. Happy birthday, Kim Fatty Fat. Now, this story is out of Ibiza. And if you don't know about Ibiza, Ibiza is a little island getaway off the coast of Spain where the rich and famous and really rich go to party, right? And it's infamous. Infamous. Now, check this out. One visitor, took the partying to the extreme. That's right. When he tested positive for every drug possible when he was pulled over by the police. Listen to this. Amphetamines, cannabis, cocaine, methamphetamines, and opioids were all detected in the 31-year-old system when he was tested by the police. Now, it wasn't just the man's blood that was packed with drugs. When the police searched him and his vehicle, they found an array, a cornucopia of illicit substances, including 20 pink pills, 6 purple pills, 2 wraps of cocaine, and an unidentified brown substance. Yeah. Then he was released with a 1,000 euro fine and 6 points on his driver's license. Seriously, I'm not making this up. It really happened in Ibiza. So there you go. All right. Come join us for the 2019 Conscious Life Expo right here in Los Angeles, California at the LAX Hilton, February 22nd through February 25th. This year, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Chariots of the Gods with Eric Von Daniken, and I will be hosting the Friday night panel with Eric, Linda Moulton Howe, Jason Martell, Billy Carson, and Rabbi Ariel Bar Zadok. George Norrie, Nassim Haramein, Robert Schock, Daniel Brinkley, Grant Cameron, Julia Mossbridge, and another 50 speakers will be presenting at the 2019 Conscious Life Expo. Just click on the banner over at jimmychurchradio.com. You will go and find a full conference schedule and tickets and information right there at jimmychurchradio.com. Now, all right, I do want to thank everybody that has been hanging out over at the hoffmansoptics.com website, the makers of our night vision goggles, the deep blue, the Jimmy Church model. That's right. I was talking to Alec yesterday. He is just so happy, and this thing that we are doing together is just incredible. So go and get your night vision goggles today. Everybody wants to go see there. Now, I say green chrome balls. Now you can see them in blue. All right, insert joke there. There you go. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. It is just $2 a month. Very easy to do now. Just go over to jimmychurchradio.com and click on that podcast banner. And also go and visit our membership section on the site. It's very smooth and easy, very cool, very fun, and it is all right there at jimmychurchradio.com. It's all simple. All right, and don't forget to visit all of our sponsors by clicking on their banners at jimmychurchradio.com. Okay, let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to today. Doors guitarist Robbie Krieger is 72. Shirley Bassey, one of the greatest of all time, today is 81. And of course, she sung the theme songs for the James Bond movies Goldfinger, right? How great of a song. Diamonds Are Forever, Moonraker. There you go. Happy birthday, Shirley Bassey. Our dead guy's birthday today are, well, you already know. Elvis Presley, 1935 to 1977, died at the age of 42. And David Bowie, 1947 to 2016, died at the age of 69. And there you go. I always said, he was a gift from the stars. It just kind of came by and visited us. And then you go and you look at that birth date, 1947. Yeah, think about that, right? Happy birthday, Elvis. Happy birthday, David. Wow, there you go. On this day in history, OTD, 1642. Italian astronomer Galileo Galilei dies in Italy at the age of 77. That's right. He was sentenced to life imprisonment for heresy, but due to his age and poor health, he was released and allowed to serve out his sentence under house arrest, where he did die at the age of 77. Fate or fact? Okay, check this out. Oh, is that Elvis? Is that Aloha via satellite? That might be Vegas, man. Man, I can't tell from that shot. It could be Vegas. That could be. Is that? I can't quite tell in that gift. Thank you for that, Tampa Rick. All right. Where was I? Oh. How can I forget? The Fader fact. Okay, check this out. Listen to this. It takes Venus so long to rotate on its axis that if you were born on Venus, you would turn 1 year old before you turned 1 day old. And that is your Fader fact. That's crazy, isn't it? That's a long day. Rita, I knew you would post that. Blue chrome balls. There you go. All right. Tonight, Carolyn Ford is here. We're going to be talking Einstein. That's right. The ancient crystal skull of consciousness, of which she is the guardian of. We're going to talk about the history of Einstein. We're going to discuss crystal skulls all night. And I've got my crystal skulls here. Well, a couple of these are Rita's on display, and we'll be discussing those. And some of these are friends of Einstein. That's right. So we'll be discussing all of these tonight, along with Einstein, with Carolyn Ford. Tomorrow night, David Wilcock is going to be here, and we're going to talk about 2018. It was a crazy year for disclosure and for the UFO community, so we're going to talk about all of that, and 2019, and what is in store for our community, the Great Awakening and disclosure, and what he sees going on the horizon. I expect 2019 to be a very exciting year. So that'll be tomorrow night. Thursday night, of course, is Fader night. Now, I wanted to do this tonight as I hit my River Moon coffee. Indigo Girls, Galileo. That's cool. Sarah Ann coming in strong. That's good. That's good. And that'll get a like right there. That's pretty good. All right. Now, it's like this. Tonight we have Carolyn Ford. And yes, she's the guardian of Einstein. So I thought I'd share my little Einstein story. Now, stay with me, because it includes a hotel room, a gaggle of women, crystal skulls, and a poltergeist or two. That's right. And it all went down. Lisa Frith. I'm going to talk about Lisa's listening right now, and I know she just went, whoa. Okay, but Lisa Frith, a close friend of ours and the Fadernauts, and Lisa started to appear in our lives about 5 years ago, maybe 6. And every time Rita and I would go out in public or we would go to a conference, it seemed that, and I'm pretty confident in saying this, that the first person that we saw out in public was Lisa Frith. She was everywhere. And she became a really good friend. And she's so close to us now. And we've had many dinners and hangouts and things. But this all centers around Lisa Frith. And we were at the Conscious Life Expo, and this was last year. And I'm out. I know what I was doing. Rita was like, me and the girls are going to go hang out. Go do what you want to do, right? Go do what you want to do. I said, okay. So I'm down in the bar. And when I get done, I ordered a bunch of food at the bar and got it all packed up and was heading up to our room, Rita and I's room, with all this food. And I go in and I look out. Rita's not there. And I go up to the sliding glass doors, and I look out, and there is Rita sitting at this table outside of our patio doors, sliding glass doors, with Lisa Frith, with Nurse Nancy, Karen McIntyre, Holly Marie. Rita, was there a fifth? I'm trying to think who was boom, 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 boom. Okay, so I'm the guy, and I go up and I look, and they've got they're doing a crystal skull ceremony, and they've got these ginormous crystal skulls set up, maybe 5 or 6 of them, in a circle in the center of the table, holding hands and doing their thing, right? Okay. So I was like, hey, I want in on this. And there was a chair. There was a spare chair. So I scoot up, belly up to the bar, and I sit down with the ceremony. In front of me is this guy right here. That's what's sitting in front of me, facing me on the table. Everybody else has got their own skulls, and this one's facing me, and we do this ceremony. So, and it was fun. It was all good, and as things ended in this one segment, I picked up this guy, and I'm holding him. I'm just like checking him out. I'm like, wow, man, you're pretty cool. And this guy goes, my name's Jose. It's like, what? I put it down. I was like, holy crap. And I go, what? I said, he just said, my name is Jose. And I was like, wow. It was just like I'm saying it right now. My name is Jose. So, all right, Jose. So at the end of the night, as we say our good nights and stuff, Lisa comes up to me and hands me Jose. He's in a velvet bag. What is that, velvet? Yeah, a velvet bag. She said, he's yours. He found you. He's named. He's now yours. I said, oh, you're kidding me, really? Okay, I was just gifted Jose. Thank you. Lisa and I hug. She walks away, and I walk into our hotel room. And on the bed, where I had set all of the food that I had ordered from the bar, chicken wings, sliders, bar food, Rita and I are sitting down to eat. And I take him out of the bag, and I put Jose down on the bed facing me, and we got the food laid out. And also delivered from room service was a bottle of Dr. Pepper, the plastic, tall, liter, big. And I take that and I put it on the nightstand right next to me, right here. And I put it down. And I turned to Rita and I said, so, how are those chicken wings? And as she looks at me, I was like, what was that? And I looked, and the Dr. Pepper's gone. It's like, what? And it's on the floor. So I pick up the Dr. Pepper, and I'm thinking that was kind of weird. Okay. I put it back on the nightstand. It's all good. And I turn to Rita. So how are those chicken wings? Poof. No. I look, and the Dr. Pepper's gone. And I look. There it is on the floor. I pick it up, put it back, start talking again. So, that's kind of weird, huh? Every time I mention the chip, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. There's the Dr. Pepper on the floor, and I picked it up 3 times, falls off the nightstand. I take it now, I put it in the center of the nightstand, clearly where it's got to travel a foot now. It shouldn't have fallen over in the first place. We eat, go to bed. I ended up drinking water, by the way. I didn't open up the Dr. Pepper. Wake up in the morning. First thing I do is I look, Dr. Pepper's gone. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And I had taken Jose the night before, took him off the bed. I said, you're done. I bagged him. I put him up on the dresser next to the TV. And I covered him in a towel. And I was like, putting you away. In the morning, Dr. Pepper's on the floor. And I picked it up and I put it there. I was like, wow, that is absolutely nuts. Now, I don't know. See, this is where everything gets really weird. I've never had anything like that happen. And I don't know if I've told this story on the show. I've certainly told it in public a couple of times before. But I've never had anything like that really happen in front of me. And the Dr. Pepper conveniently fell every time I just turned my head. Right? It didn't fall when I was looking at it. Strange how that happens. Right? And when people tell you these things, stuff are falling off the shelves or this. Look, it happens. And this happened with this Dr. Pepper bottle 3 times. And I can't explain it. I absolutely cannot. The only thing that was a little bit different about the room that night was this guy. Now, since Jose has been in the bunker, we haven't had any issues. I haven't had any strange poltergeists. The only thing that happened in here, which was also live on the radio, was the Thoth that fell over. And this is Thoth right here. You see him? All right. And this is heavy, too, by the way. This is very, very heavy. And so Thoth fell over. Hasn't fallen over since. This is a very solid table and things. I still don't know how that happened, but poltergeists are real. They are. What causes them? What energizes these skulls? What's the deal? I don't know. And that's why Carolyn Ford being here tonight, we can answer all of these questions. If you have any crystal skulls and you have any questions for Carolyn, you can post them, hashtag F2BQ, and I'll read them on the air tonight. Carolyn, which we'll be discussing a little bit later, will also be in Los Angeles with Einstein. And I know that Rita and I are going to be there for, she's going to be in town for 3 nights. And so Rita will post what days we are going to be there. And if you would like to see Einstein in person and meet Carolyn, you can do that here in Los Angeles I think it's next week or 2 weeks, the 19th, 18th, 19th, 20th. I think that's it. And there you go. All right, so this is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. I'm going to get out of here because I'm going to be right back with tonight's guest, Carolyn Ford. Tomorrow night, everybody, David Wilcock is back. It's going to be a great show tomorrow night with David. Thursday night is Fader Night with Teresa Yannaris and Divine Frequency on the airwaves, followed by Open Lines all night long. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA The Planet. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Stay with me. I'll be right back after this short break.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey folks, guess what the number one phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea. We love this tea. Time after time, week after week, we love this tea. Life Change Tea gives you more energy, a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church. And whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Carolyn Ford is here. Tomorrow night, David Wilcock is back with us. Thursday night is another Fader night with Teresa Yanneris. Divine Frequency on the airwaves, followed by open lines all night long. But tonight, I've been wanting to do this show for a very long time. Carolyn Ford is here, and she's the guardian of Einstein, the ancient crystal skull of consciousness. It's the largest and one of the rarest artifacts in the world. She had kept him private for 22 years until 2010 when she was guided to share him with everyone. And at 4 years old, and we're going to talk about this tonight, Carolyn had a mystical experience, and she now knows this was the moment that she walked into this body and began the preparations to share Einstein with the world. It's a great story. We'll be talking about that tonight. Einstein, are you ready? 70,000 years old. Okay, it's ginormous. It's the biggest. She is the counselor. She's a teacher. She has helped thousands of people worldwide awaken to their true nature through the principles of the human design system. She has studied with a variety of great teachers from around the world. This includes Hawaiian Kahuna, Morna. Man, I just did it. Simiana and various shamanic studies. And of course, her website is EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. And I've got to say, Carolyn, welcome to the show. I'm so excited. I'm tongue-tied. Welcome. How are you?
I am fabulous, Jimmy. Thank you for having us.
Well, yeah, us. I like that. I like that a lot. And before we get started, you get the first-time guest disclaimer. Now, the next time you're on the show, you don't get it, but you're going to get it tonight, which is this, Carolyn. It's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends, and where that conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends, but we're going to end as friends. There you go.
I love that.
Are you ready?
We are.
We are.
I know. Did you hear that? We.
So cool. Now, I just mentioned, the 70,000-year-old number when it comes to Einstein, and we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. But there's a couple of other things that are very interesting about Einstein. As you know, I've got, along with Rita, we have a little modest collection of crystal skulls. And 6 years ago, we had 0. Right. And now, I've grabbed some and brought them into the bunker. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. But over at the house, we have a few more, too, as well. But I brought these in various sizes. Most of these you are already familiar with, and that's very interesting, too. So thank you for that. But these pale in comparison to Einstein. And when we are talking about Einstein, he's quartz, but he's 33 pounds. Mm-hmm. That's insane. And when you look at these pictures of you with Einstein, then I guess you can get a general idea of what we're talking about here. But he certainly is the biggest, isn't he?
At this time, he is. And that was very well spoken, what you just said.
Well, this is the thing. For any ancient or modern hands, it doesn't matter. To make something that big, now we are talking about a chunk of quartz that's got to be big without cracks and everything. But that's got to be a huge piece of quartz to create something like Einstein, which is coming in at 33 pounds. How tall is Einstein?
Well, he's about 14 inches high.
That's crazy.
And I know. And what I want to say at this point is that he was created, not carved. That's like a whole nother story.
To put this into context for myself, Lisa, our close mutual dear friend, was with us last year. Well, she's with us all the time, but last year she brought up to ECETI this enormous crystal skull that had, I can't remember the name, but had a very exotic carving. It wasn't your traditional skull. And I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. Like it almost had a headdress on it.
It had natural points.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I think so. Very cool looking. It was purple and white. Oh, okay.
So it's amethyst, probably.
Oh, you don't know what? Well, anyway.
I can't think of which one you're talking about, but I think it's a chevron amethyst that had almost like a mohawk on the top.
Yes.
Oh, that one was stunning.
Stunning.
Yes.
And that was probably, 12 inches a foot tall or maybe more. and it was so cool to look at this. It's beautiful to look at. It's artwork, but that's not the real story for me. They have power. They're energized. And if I'm getting what I'm getting out of my crystal skulls, I can't imagine what it's like to be in the presence of Einstein. What is that like?
Well, it's a good question. And, since Einstein has been in my field of expression for about 28 years, it feels like every day to me. But the reality happens when I do private sessions as we travel and people walk in to see Einstein and they burst out crying or they have memories or they're flooded with emotion. It's really quite something. So It's high energy 24/7. And when people come into my space, they go, really? Really? You feel all this? And for us, again, that's what we know, right?
Right. The little story that I told earlier tonight, which I've shared with you, with my experience with Jose and the Dr. Pepper bottles. That was I like to tell a colorful story, and I enjoy telling a colorful story. But that is exactly what happened. With about that kind of timing, the bottle fell off like every 15 seconds, right? It was just like boom, 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 boom. And I don't know if it was Jose, but I don't think it was the chicken wings, that we had. And so when I share a story like that, or when you hear somebody share a story like that, are you surprised?
Oh, no, not at all. That's, I live in the world of strange stories. So this is just business as usual, really.
And what about, well, there's one thing that, although I haven't had any guitars fall off of the wall or anything crazy go down, there's one thing I have noticed with Jose is he changes colors. And he will go from, like right now, he is absolutely crystal clear. And there are days when I come in and he is a bona fide yellow. Like a yellow. It's not like it's your imagination. You just look and I'm thinking, what's going on, man? And then he'll go back. What's going on there when skulls change colors like that?
Well, we get a lot of reports like that. And if you want to consider, quartz is living. I mean, quartz is living life force in a sense. So you have a lot of aliveness here, and that's what makes them so amazing. Jimmy, they were considered computers. The original ancient ones, like Einstein.
Right. He
says, I'm a master computer. So they have information and they have energy, and you can upload the energy. Just like if he found something interesting in you, in your presence, he would be able to just absorb that or upload it. They have a degree of consciousness. So depending on how the human, the person who has the skull, interfaces with them or activates them and puts a certain amount of energy in them, which creates a response from the skull, you can have lots of experiences. I get stories daily, and they get rainbows in them. They change color. It's energy. It's frequency. If they get excited, we had an interview once and we were on film, and everybody saw Einstein turning indigo blue. Like it was like a hue around him.
I'm looking at a bunch of pictures of Einstein now. I'm looking at him in a row, and he's almost clear at points. Then he's milky, and then he's definitely a tan, a yellow hue. That's a definite shade change. And then there's other pictures with you and Einstein where he's not quite clear, but he's trying to be. So he's changing. Right. He's changing colors all the time, isn't he?
Yes, and he's his predominant color is a white, and he's a milky white. An ancient skull like him has accumulated quite a bit of. Well, they don't stay clear when they've been buried, and we don't know all of the history of the experience, but it's very traditional to be a little bit milky, and there's a lot of information that can be stored in there in vast areas of him. So he doesn't really get, like, a lot of those are just the photo and the lighting as well, but he does change. That's indeed true.
Where did Einstein come from?
Well, that's a good question. Originally, I mean, if you want to know how I got him, or we can take you back to the beginning.
Let's go to the beginning, and then we'll end with how you came in possession of him.
All right. To my understanding, I'd like to also say the 70,000 years, that's not something I have said openly a lot to large audiences because you can't really prove that. But it is the wisdom that I have and that I was told by the skull, by Einstein. And then Mayan elder came along and told me that was exactly when his people came here from the Pleiades, and they brought the skulls, and we brought the skulls in liquid pouches. So they came in liquid when they traveled through the star systems and then were reformed here, which is, like, just wrap your brain around that for a moment. When we show Einstein to carvers, some of the best carvers in the world, they touch him and go, oh, we could never achieve this polish. There's something different about this one.
Mm-hmm.
And so the understanding that I have, with no proof, but the understanding I have is that they came as liquid and then were reformed, reshaped, and the intention and frequency with those that brought them were able to recreate that shape.
Now, you chose to reveal or bring Einstein public on 10/10/10, which was October 10th, 2010, right? What was special about that? Obviously, it's 10/10/10, but was there another connection to that date?
That's a good question. I actually was told it was time. And so it wasn't really a conscious choice on my part as much as a collective decision between me and Einstein and the promoter of that event as well. There was a series of doorways that were, we could say it simply, open, and there was a 999 event, a 10-10-10, 11-11-11, and they ended at the 12-12-12. And that was all intentional. So each time we gathered, or the skulls gathered even the year before I showed up, it had a purpose and an intention for activating, again, this time in humans' evolutionary history. So it was just our time to step in the arena.
Well, there's another special meaning for me personally with 10-10-10. It's my birthday.
Are you kidding?
Is it? Yeah, isn't that trippy? Isn't that trippy? Little anecdote. Okay, well, so let's go back to my brother Einstein, my twin brother that I never knew that I had, with this 10-10-10 date. So going back, where in Mexico? Do you know exactly where he was discovered?
I do. I don't know that tonight is the night to say that exact city, but it's definitely a city in Mexico. And
well, why not?
I don't know. I've taken each step very carefully.
I just gave you 10-10-10, so you gotta give me the city.
I'm giving you some new stuff here too. I mean, I actually saved some really good reveals for you, Jimmy. But the city
and my sister's name is Carolyn.
Is it really?
Okay, so I'll throw a couple of more synchronicities in there to get to the synchronicities of the cities. All right.
Yeah, I had an ex named Jimmy. How's that?
Oh, see, there. Let's keep going. Okay. Well, southern Mexico, I would assume Mayan.
Yeah, close. That's close. I mean, I'll take that for now.
Okay.
But
pretty close to like Belize, maybe.
No.
Oh, okay. So the other
colder.
side.
We're getting colder.
The other side of
colder.
Mexico. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll figure this out. So when did he, before you started being the caretaker, the guardian of Einstein? What's the provenance?
Well, what do you mean exactly?
I mean, it changed hands.
Right. So the story is, that's how I received him was, it's kind of an interesting story, but I'll just give you a little. I took a workshop with a medicine man, Harley Swiftier, in Los Angeles, and it was a dream workshop. And at the end of this workshop, we all gathered, and he brought out 2 small crystal skulls, about the size of the one you got, right?
Right.
A couple, 3 inches, 4 inches. And we all meditated with these skulls. And he's beating a drum, and you look at the eyes. You lay on the floor, and you look eye to eye with the skull. And then he invites you, while in a shamanic drumming mode, go in through the eyes and see if there's a message for you. So I did this, and I'd never seen these before. I didn't know what they were, but, I was a student of all things metaphysical and different. So the voice said at that moment, "You are the guardian." So, of course, that didn't mean anything to me, but I thought it was cute that this little skull talked to me.
Right, right.
So I went home and called one of my friends. I had just moved from Seattle to Los Angeles, and I'd called him. He had always provided me, had a store, provided all of my specimens and stones. And I asked him to find me a skull, just a small one, just something to play with. I didn't know ancient ones existed at that time. So he said, "Sure, Carolyn, I'll see what I can do." Well, the next morning he calls me and he says, "Carolyn, I found your skull." And I go, "That fast already, Jack?" And he says, "Yeah." He went to his store in the morning to open up, and there was a man standing outside with a suitcase. And of course, he invited him in, and inside this suitcase were artifacts. And the artifacts came from an explorer who had brought them back in the early 20s. And this explorer had since transitioned, and his family didn't really like his scary artifacts. They didn't really relate to them, and they owed this gentleman money. So they said, "Well, will you take the artifacts because we can't pay you?" And of course, the gentleman, being a businessman, said, "Better than nothing, right?" So he took them, and he just went to find some, where they could go, where he could just turn them into something else. And that morning is when he chose to go to my friend's store. So my friend Jack called me up and said, "Carolyn, I've got your skull." And he goes, "But there's a problem." And I go, "Well, I just want a 2 or 3 inch skull. What kind of problem could there be?" And he goes, "Well, it's bigger than you requested, Carolyn." And I'm like, "Really? I don't really want a bigger skull. I don't want to spend the money. I don't know what I would do with something bigger. I just want to, experiment." He goes, "Carolyn, you have to come home." So I had just moved to Los Angeles. So I flew back to Seattle. And on the way there, because I'm trusting my friend, right? On the way there, this voice says, "You will need to pick up rose water to cleanse me." I'm like, whoa,
Okay.
He's already talking to me.
Right, right.
So fast forward, I get off the plane, I go to my friend's home, walk in the door, and I look at this skull. It's huge. I mean, it's huge, way bigger than a bowling ball, right? Huge. And I just burst out crying and went, "That's my baby." Now, I don't know it exists before this moment, and now it's my baby. And in that moment, I wasn't concerned about size.
Right.
It didn't matter.
Right, right. That's pretty incredible. Where we all enjoy synchronicities and the guidance of the universe, and you've got to follow things and don't ignore them. But that's pretty incredible right there. That's pretty incredible. And the voices, when I hear people talk about this now, because of my experience with crystal skulls, I don't have it with I've got crystals too. Doesn't happen with crystals.
No.
Right. And so the "you will be the guardian," when that happened at that moment, was it just like somebody was whispering in your ear? I mean, was it just an audible voice?
That's a really great way to word it. It wasn't like I thought other people in the room could hear it. It was clearly within my consciousness.
Right.
It was just like a direct transmission.
That's what. Yeah, I feel like I'm interrupting you. I don't want to interrupt you, but the experience with Jose when that happened with me. I mean, I looked. I thought everybody heard it. You know what I mean? It was pretty crazy, and it was real. So now, did you get the rose water?
Oh, you bet. You know, when I get instructions like that, I listen, and I learned over time, you know, to listen to these types of things. So, yes, I got the rose water, and, you know, he'd had a little bit of a journey, and I don't think he came from a home of a lot of consciousness. There were artifacts. He was in a room of artifacts. And so I used the rose water, and it was huge. I mean, it was just, you know what I call that experience, Jimmy? I call that destiny.
Yeah, I'm looking at these pictures with you and Einstein. It's just, that is just absolutely incredible. We need to take a break right here. But before we do, when you say that he was there with a bunch of other artifacts, really quick, what kind of artifacts were they?
The ones I'm aware of, he came with a jade jaguar, which we know who has it, and we're trying to get it back. Because at the time I didn't really have the awareness to try to scoop up all these artifacts, or probably, you know, the budget. But then the other thing was a jade mask. And the jade mask plays a huge role because they say that the Mayans time traveled, and they wore jade suits, and they time traveled in suits of jade, and not the big heavy stone like we know, but, you know, obviously they were able to alter the substances so that they could time travel. And I don't know more about it than that, but that's something I've become aware of.
Now, is that something that Einstein told you about?
It's kind of a combination between Einstein and this Mayan elder that I met.
And you got to tell me. I've got 45 seconds. Do you come home and go, "Yo, Einstein, what's up?" I mean, do you guys, you know?
He talks to me as I'm driving. He talks to me when I come in, when I travel. Sometimes when I traveled originally, I had a trunk, and I'd put him in the trunk, and he would be telling me, "Don't go there, do that." You know, He's definitely talkative. And I would say at this point, after 28 years, we've merged more as one. In the beginning, it was more distinct. He's talking at me. Sometimes he's talking to me. Then he started to influence me more in the dream time. And then I thought that was really spectacular that I was being talked to in the dream time. And then he informed me that it's only because I wasn't listening during the day. So we've had an evolution of awareness and growth at that level.
Let's take a break right here, Carolyn. Fascinating conversation. Tonight we're talking about Einstein, the ancient crystal skull of consciousness. This is Fade to Black. It's going to be one of those nights tonight. Get comfortable. Thank you so much, Carolyn. We'll be right back after this short break. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio and post your questions right there. Hashtag F2B, hashtag F2BQ. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas. Come join us for the 2019 Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles at the LAX Hilton. This year, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Chariots of the Gods with Eric Von Daniken, and I'll be hosting the panel with Eric, Linda Moulton Howe, Jason Martell, Billy Carson, and David Wilcock. Join George Norrie, Nassim Haramain, Robert Schock, Daniel Brinkley, Grant Cameron, Julia Mossbridge, Teresa Yannaris, and another 50 speakers who will be presenting at the 2019 Conscious Life Expo. Just go to ConsciousLifeExpo.com for tickets and a full conference schedule, or click on the CLE banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go back, Lee Tappy.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Julian. You're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We're also Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Carolyn Ford, guardian of Einstein, the ancient crystal skull of consciousness. Tomorrow night, David Wilcock's going to be here. Thursday night is another Fader night. Open lines all night long. Of course, Teresa Yannaris will be here with us as well. And Caroline,
yes,
I have to ask you, okay, I'm going to get a little personal here for a second. and it's this. You know, you bring your significant other, you know, and now are you, is it,
What do you do? What do you do when you introduce somebody to Einstein? How do you tackle that? I mean, it's certainly if somebody needs to be approved, right? Do you consult? How do you handle this?
Okay, so here you go. That was a very creative question, and I really appreciate you for asking it. I've had Einstein for 28 years, so of course I've had a few relationships during that time. And what's interesting is, when I lived in Los Angeles, I used to keep him in a secret compartment underneath the bed, and
oh man.
So, nobody got a direct introduction until they were approved, let's say.
I knew it. It has to be that way. It has to. So now, okay. Now, when that moment enters the picture and you're introducing Einstein to somebody that you also like, but Einstein, is there jealousy? Is there communication and jealousy on both sides? Right. Right.
Let me give you the answer. Your questioning is so fun. I love it. But here's what happened after I got Einstein. My life began to change dramatically. And I always had a deeply spiritual, tuned-in life, but it took another level. And I was guided to leave Los Angeles and come to Sedona. And Einstein did not give me a chance to go out and choose or attract or find somebody as much as I always say Einstein brings me men.
I'm not laughing.
I am.
I'm with you. I'm so with you on this.
He brings me men. And when I got Einstein, I looked at him and I went, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "You better bring me someone to help me, because by the time you put a 33-pound skull in a bag to carry him safely, he becomes 50 pounds. And luckily, I'm not a petite girl. So, I have an athletic background, so I could at least carry him and still can, but it's a lot." And I told him, I said, "That's a lot. You need to bring me help." And so from the very beginning, I have some of the most extraordinary stories of people that have been sent who help and continue to help.
Now, and when you look, I'm just going to be direct. So you're at that moment, and you're going, "Okay, I need you to meet Einstein, and we talk." Right? You have to be honest. You have to be open. And what is that moment like?
Oh boy. Well, again, you're sharing with somebody who is already there in consciousness too, as a rule. Not always, but let me tell you, this is the best story. In the very first day I got to Sedona, I was guided to come here and leave Los Angeles, as you could imagine. And a man was brought in presence. And then I noticed him, and I noticed his connection to the earth and everything, but I didn't really talk to him. And then in the dream time, we talked. And the dream told me, like Einstein, said, "You'll find him and he will teach you about nature here in Sedona." And over a series of, I don't know how much time we have on radio, but it's about 4 or 5 days of comedy, I was brought into the presence of this man, and he gave me a tour of Sedona. We connected, and I was invited. We were just very much friends. It wasn't like a man-woman attraction as much as it was something so much more. And I was offered to be a guest in his home for a couple days while I looked for where I might move. Because by that time, after being in Sedona 4 or 5 days, I was told I was home. So the cool part is that if you look at Einstein, there's room for spheres in his eyes. And we call these Einstein's eyes. So in this guest room of this man that I was introduced to, he's Kevin Petrilli, he's a really amazing amulet maker and still lives in Sedona, still one of my best friends. I'm just a guest, we're not really like attracted kind of thing. It was a higher purpose than that. And I thought, okay, I'm in his home. I better share, right? I have to share. So I invited him into the room, and we sit on the floor because Einstein's so heavy. There's nowhere, I bring him out. I have his suitcase. And he says, put him on the altar here. And in the guest room, especially in a Sedona guest room, you've got a futon and an altar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we put him on the altar. And on this altar were 2, 4, 6, 8 spheres, crystal spheres, round, pure quartz crystal spheres. We set them on the altar, and every one of those spheres went into 2 in each eye, one little one behind the very large one in front, and then it could spin.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you were to see Einstein up close, you will soon in LA, right?
Yes.
Next week.
Yes.
There's a couple holes on the side, kind of like where the ear might be. And he said that they used to make like hemp-like weavings to suspend them in the temples in Atlantis. And there's these holes so they could they would weave it so it would hold him, suspended in the air.
Right, right.
But now, he said, they're also listening devices. So we put every sphere on that altar, and there were only 8. Each one of them fit right inside Einstein, like a Cinderella story.
He's incredible. He's incredible.
And when you come, I'll show you these spheres. It's like an amazing story.
Yeah, I see them. And now, okay, with that in mind, yes. I want to back up just a little bit here. After you, I don't want to say possession because that just feels a little bit too strong. But now you have Einstein. Mm-hmm. And you started to look back. What were you able to find out about his history? Did this come from an oral history, or was it documented, or did it come from Einstein himself?
Oh, yeah, it came from Einstein mostly, and a lot of deep work. I don't believe anything's documented because even when Einstein, we have recently found who we think was the one who had him last in Mexico, and a very famous person in Mexico. I try to say the name, but I would really mess it up.
Okay.
But do you want me to try?
Well, or you can text it to me. How's that?
Yeah, I don't even know how to write it hardly. But,
okay.
Yeah, I could try.
Okay. Fair enough.
I will. I'll text it to you. That's a good idea.
Okay.
If I can text and talk at the same time.
Well,
yes.
We can do it during the break.
Yeah.
So, but what did Einstein tell you about his history? Because the 70,000 year mark starts to come into play, and although I'm okay with 70,000 years, there are many historians and anthropologists and archaeologists that would argue that point.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm saying it on your show, and I may regret it, but I don't usually say much that can't be proven. And I will say that Einstein's instructions to me before I started sharing him with the world is that he is here to help people remember. He's here to activate you, and to be cautious about giving a lot of stories about him, whether we believe them to be true or not, because we do want to inspire people to be open to experience them and have their own experience. So whether it's 70,000 or not probably isn't the most important. But when you want to get into the history, you know who's behind Einstein? There's a few, but Quetzalcoatl.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Now, can you say that better for me?
No, that's perfect. But okay, so we're talking about the king of the Aztecs.
Right.
Huh.
Right. Okay. And I think there's a lot of history there that is still being revealed to me that isn't as we know it.
There is the other part to this story, and I don't know. I'm not the crystal skull expert. I've done my share of research because I'm fascinated with it. But I always defer to Lisa. Right? Lisa is our.
She's great.
She's amazing when it comes to this stuff.
We love you, Lisa.
Yeah,
Okay.
She's great. She's great. She's laughing right now. She does not want us probably to say her name anymore tonight, Lisa. So we won't, Lisa.
Yeah, right.
We won't.
Okay.
Is the legend goes that there are 13 skulls around the world that all share a piece of knowledge. And one day they will all be brought together, and then we will get the massive data download of us. Right? Mm-hmm. Is Einstein part of that 13?
Oh yeah.
What can you tell us?
Well, that's another thing that's not so provable. The 13 crystal skulls is a story that has been recycled and recycled and recycled forever. And even Hollywood has even featured it, as we all know. It's kind of complicated because there are a lot of different personalities holding these skulls. There's mostly women out there that have the ancient skulls, and to bring them all together, I don't believe that all of the 13 original have surfaced yet.
How many? Yeah, and I've tried to get that count as well. How many would you feel comfortable saying have surfaced?
Well, there's about 10, maybe 11. There's some that start to come in now and everybody's a lot more cautious of, but it takes more time. The ones that I know of, there's about 8 to 10 that are really substantial and have had a number of the experts look at them and validate them. There's new ones coming in that not everybody has had a chance to see and validate, and that I'm not totally aware of at this time, but they keep surfacing. And then you have, just like you do in a lot of areas, everybody's claiming, I have the 13th skull. No, I have the 13th skull. And years ago, before Einstein came out and a few of the other skulls were even revealed, people were saying, oh, well, those two must be the 13th skull. And so there's a lot of confusion about it, and there will need to be an event that helps people understand what is what, rather than self-proclamation about skulls. So I don't know if I've answered you yet, but there's confusion there. It's a field with a lot of confusion. It's like, do you remember everybody going, I'm Spartacus? No, I'm Spartacus.
Yes. And now what about, I certainly want to know what happens when you get so many of these skulls together. And we'll talk about that in a second. That's got to be pretty incredible. But how does the Mitchell Hedges skull play into the 13? And has Einstein ever been in the presence of Mitchell Hedges?
We have... No, not exactly. I can't say that. I've been in the presence of the skull, Mitchell Hedges, and Einstein was out in the car in the trunk because he was still, I kept Einstein's secret for 22 years and did my training. And so we spent time with other skulls, but I didn't tell anybody about Einstein yet. So they haven't. We've, spent time with other skulls, but not the Mitchell Hedges.
And what happens when I can only imagine what is going on, not only in the room, but maybe in the heavens and the stars above what's going on too as well. Big Stargate vortex. But what happens when you get these guys together and gals?
I love this question. I love all your questions, by the way. I think you just do a great job. We have a friend here, Jaap Van Etten. He has written books on crystal skulls. So you should all know about Jaap Van Etten. He's good, he's talented, and he lives here not far from where we are in Sedona, Arizona. And he does a crystal skull meditation every week. And he has really powerful skulls that he has activated. He's put them in a grid, and the grid is all laid out in alignment with different star constellations. And it's quite stunning. Hundreds of skulls in this grid. So every once in a while, we've been invited to visit. And when we do, we put Einstein in the middle of this grid in the guest spot. And Yap always says, oh my God, he is a central skull. Einstein comes alive when we put him in the center. And the meditation, you can see a beam of indigo blue going from Einstein set up into the multiverse. It's a stunning experience. And so when 2 or more activated crystal skulls come together, you have some powerful experiences. And when you get hundreds that have been treated properly, activated, held with respect, etc., you have more power. Intention amplifies everything.
Where did Einstein get his name?
Oh, good one. After I got Einstein in the Seattle, picked him up in Seattle, I took and shared him with my mother and her stepfather. And they were both fairly metaphysical or open individuals. And I didn't know what I had, Jimmy. I was like, oh my God, what is, I knew it was important, but I couldn't really grasp it yet. So I went to their home and shared it with them before I got back on a plane. And as soon as I took Einstein out of the bag, my stepfather, Ed, says, Einstein. And immediately I just fell off my chair, like this bolt hit me, like, that's my name. I mean, this was like the voice came in, that's my name. Now, what I would say is I don't think this was the operating name throughout history. This is the name given for this time in our evolutionary process. So Einstein, the name was, he just called it Einstein the minute he came out of a box, and I was just told that's it. And later, I had a friend say, Carolyn, do you know what Einstein means in German? And I said, well, no, not really. He said, Ein means one and Stein means stone.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, Einstein is one stone.
Makes sense.
So we named our business One Stone.
Now it's all making sense. Not only with your name, but his name and one stone. That's not coincidence.
No, a lot of things, I have so many stories that if I tell you, you won't even believe them. But it's like when you have a life with a crystal skull like I do with Einstein, and it's destiny, and this is a very powerful skull, everything has an unfolding that is, you can just call magical. I don't know what other word to use. But just the way that coincidences, alleged coincidences happen, the way people are brought into our lives, it's like it's unfolding. And the important thing that I have to do is remain alert and open and not get in the way and not let any of the human personality really interfere with the consciousness.
Now, you're going to be, we're going to take a break right here, but you're going to be in Los Angeles next weekend. Not this weekend, next weekend, January 18th, 19th, and the 20th, right?
Yes.
And that's at the Crystal Matrix here in Atwater Village. What's going on?
Well, this is really fun. It's one of our favorite places, the Crystal Matrix in Atwater, and we will do an event Friday night. There's a little bit of introduction because there's always new people coming that want to learn a little bit. And then we have our favorites, our regulars, Lisa. People come, and we'll do an introduction, we do an experience, and we'll do a meditation with Einstein. And this time, the meditation is really important. What you get from an ancient crystal skull is people want me to tell them magical stories of people walked in crutches and left walking. And I can't give those stories. But what I can tell you is even better, because people walk in unclear sometimes of who they are or where they're going or what's this all about here. And then he activates you and you just start to line up with your life and your purpose. And it's stunning. And we do that with a little bit of awareness of the genetic blueprint. Their human design often plays a role in private sessions, not in the group. But the meditation is called Taking Your Seat at the Council Fire.
And it's at, for everybody here in Los Angeles or in Southern California, it's 3215 Glendale Boulevard in Atwater Village. And it's very close. It's near Glendale. Everybody knows where Atwater Village is.
Right.
But it's covering 3 days, and the second day that's a one-on-one. What's going on the second day?
Yeah, the second day is private sessions. So that's pretty much filled up, I believe. There's a waiting list for private sessions.
So I can't. Wait a minute. What about me? What about Rita?
Well, okay. So Jimmy, can we give out the number, because that's how people can reserve their place and make an appointment. And they're instructed, they've chosen to take a list of overflow, and then we see if we can get in there sooner or stay longer and fulfill those requests.
So it's 323-644-7625, the Crystal Matrix. And you can also go to thecrystalmatrix.com. Yeah, thecrystalmatrix.com. We'll get those links out, and we are really looking forward to not only meeting Einstein, but can I bring a couple of Einstein's friends?
Yes.
No, we'll do that, and I've got a couple that haven't met Einstein either. I've got Anatole here, this giant guy that you haven't met yet.
Really?
And
well, can I say one more thing? Do you have another minute?
Sure.
Okay, so what's really exciting is about the event, we do a meditation, and people are all welcome to bring, if they have skulls that they want to be activated with Einstein, we welcome that in private sessions or in the group. We also bring a tremendous amount of activated skulls that have sat in ceremony with Einstein in his underground kiva or sweat lodge here in Sedona. And that is the way the ancients used to do it, is they would bring like the master skull to the people and then have them carve one in the image of that skull. So we have some carved in Einstein's image, and then we have others that have sat with him, both very powerful. And those, people can come get their own imprinted skull, which carries the ancient wisdom. That's what imprinting is.
Do you remember Corazon?
Oh, is that one you got too?
Yes. So Corazon, and so we'll
bring them.
Yeah, we'll bring Einstein's friends, and got to bring Jose too. We got to bring Jose back, and I can't wait to hang out. We need to take a break right here, so let's get this out of the way. Our guest tonight is Carolyn Ford, the guardian of Einstein, the ancient crystal skull of consciousness. More of the conversation with Carolyn right after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Teppy. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by paranormal talk radio? You'll love the new paranormal radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the paranormal radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Carolyn Ford is here, the guardian of Einstein, the ancient crystal skull of consciousness. Incredible. 33 pounds. It's probably the largest in the world. And I can't imagine, Carolyn, something larger coming along and what that would mean. And I want to talk a little bit about the manufacture of these because there's a lot of modern stuff going around. I certainly have some here. Mm-hmm. But you said earlier that he was created. And now, what did you mean by that?
Well, he wasn't carved. And of course, the logic would say, oh, yeah, that is carved because all the others are carved. But this one is special, and he was brought from, let's say, again, if I jump out there and say things, I'll do a first here on your show, that he comes from a parallel universe. And he was brought here to bring awareness and consciousness and evolution to the planet through the matrix of the awareness and wisdom stored within the ancient computer. That being said, when they traveled with him, you couldn't travel with a big heavy stone as easily the way that they would travel, so they made them liquid. And then he was reformed here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sounds like he was poured.
Yeah, it's like poured. It was, I don't understand it 100%. I have an idea of it, and I have a couple versions in my awareness, but
well, okay, so let's stay on this for a second. The life of Einstein or any ancient crystal skull, they should be respected. And do they go through the same trials and tribulations that we go through in our lives, like maybe bad relationships, abusive relationships too as well? And do they carry that with them?
Well, they can certainly carry. There are many different types of stones that hold energy differently. Citrine crystal is one that they say never needs cleansing. It's like self-cleansing. Einstein, the uniqueness of who Einstein is also self-cleaning skull. Now, I'm still very, very respectful, and people ask me, well, what do I do? What's the care and feeding of my, and I thought about writing the book of, care and feeding of your crystal skull 101.
Sure.
Einstein is never put in the presence of TV, ever. Never. If there's a TV in the room, Einstein will never be in that room. And always there is an altar, there are candles, there's respect. It's just a sacred space.
Yeah, you don't want to pollute Einstein with CNN and Fox or the Kardashians. That's probably not saying that you watch that stuff, but
I do not.
It could be an accidental download or upload to Einstein. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good practice. But has he conveyed with you about some of his, previous owners and the relationships that he has had? And I'm saying he because I'm assuming he's a he.
We all say he because Einstein is a male name, and it's limitation of the English language that makes it want to be he. I do the same thing, but to be honest with you, Einstein is more androgynous. Einstein exists in a frequency that is not limited to male or female. He's all in everything, but my language is limited. So I often tell that in events, I'm saying he, but don't hold us to just one gender here, because the evolution of humanity is more integration anyway.
Well, did I just interrupt? I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I know, but it was a natural place for you. But I want to just throw in one thing that I think you were asking this in your own way, which is when the skulls are carved and they were, the carvers, they're asked to carve skulls, or they carve the skulls. In ancient times, they were asked to carve them. And when they carve them and you carve the eyes, it brings consciousness into the skull. And the shape of the crystal skull is very important. And it's important that it holds information like a computer. And so that's why your generator crystals, the nice, beautiful pieces that people have in their homes, they don't have consciousness like that. They have energy and frequency, but eyes bring consciousness to a skull and bring it more to life. And that shape of the crystal skull is, there's a reason that they're carved in skulls, and people think it's scary or creepy, but it's actually one of the highest forms of awareness and awakening is this shape of the skull.
Yeah, Jose's eyes are incredible, and Anatole's eyes. This is a very accurate human skull, right? This is a very accurate carving. But the eyes in this guy, I'm holding him up to the camera right now for everybody. I'm trying to, he's just as expressive as it gets. There you go. I want everybody to see what, okay. So the reason why I'm asking about what Einstein may have revealed to you about the past is, were there any, besides Quetzalcoatl, other leaders? Was he in possession or was he, with other leaders and And because there's a certain power and a certain thing that comes along with, something like Einstein in your possession, that others could maybe glean something from, both positive and negative. He's here to help Earth, but maybe other I keep saying possessors, right? It's such a negative connotation to it, but they would use it for maybe negative reasons.
Well, there's certainly that potential. Einstein pretty much has been in a more positive use state because he was always kept sacred and hidden. And the last guardian that we became aware of through some really great research with an author friend of mine, Ken Wells Jr., or author KB Wells Jr., we did some research, some really deep diving, and then we worked with a forensic intuitive artist, Marcia K. Moore. And I think she was featured on Ancient Aliens right after us. And she came up with these sketches. We all had a meeting in Santa Fe, and we spent a week together, and it was really quite powerful. And we saw the last guardian and his son, and she said, well, this was a king and his two sons. And so she showed the sketch and talked to us, and then we started doing research, and we found indeed in Mexico there was Nezahualcóyotl. I sent you the name. Did you see it?
Yep, got it right here.
Can you say it?
Yeah, Nezahualcóyotl.
Thank you. I'm always a little insecure at my pronunciation, but he was known to have mysterious experience of the unknown and the unknowable. And then he brought to his culture poetry when there was none. He brought political type settings. He brought aqueducts and gardens, and he brought all of these new things that nobody that knew about back in the in that time around the Aztec time. So he didn't, this is something you keep quiet. And he was given this to share and to awaken the people. And this is where Quetzalcoatl is behind this.
Yeah, he was, what's interesting about him is we're going back to the early 1400s. And
it was about the mid 1400s.
Right. Yeah, he was born in 1402. That is a long time ago. That's a lot of provenance.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a philosopher and ruler, but a very forward thinking. And he's exactly who Einstein should have been with.
Exactly. And this is how the ancient crystal skulls have been utilized throughout the evolution of human history, is being brought and put into the hands of certain people that were capable and available and are preordained, to bring that information to the world to support evolution.
And how do you sit down and have these conversations? Is it in that? I mean, do you have an agenda? Do you go into hard history? Are you asking questions? Do you have to? Is there a ceremony ahead of time, or is this just happening?
You mean when we were in Santa Fe doing this?
No, I mean right now.
Oh, with me right now with Einstein?
Yes.
Okay, here's the thing. I usually do not seek information. Rather, I am informed on a need-to-know basis.
Which is my question. Are you asking questions, and how does this happen?
Mm-hmm. People all think I should be asking a lot of questions, but the grace of my coexistence with Einstein is that I am inspired, fueled, and fed, in a sense. And of course, yeah.
Do you have pen and paper at the ready?
Yeah.
I know, right? I mean,
I do. I wake up every morning and I still have old school pen and paper next to my bed, and I write my dreams. And a lot of times I wake up with messages for people I know and care about, and then I call them and say, well, Einstein said this, Einstein said that, and it just comes. And even in private sessions, people will bring in a list of questions, and I go, put the list aside. I'll respect it, but let's just sit. And then I just start sharing what they need to hear, and they go, oh, that was better than my list. It's Einstein gives you what you need and will awaken you and empower you so that you don't need to walk in with a list next time.
That's incredible. And what the during a private session, I actually am very interested in this. What are the expectations going in? You just said people will come in with questions at the ready. Then they find out that probably isn't going to be how it's going to go down.
It's limiting to come in with questions. To be honest with you, to come in with expectations and questions is limiting. And the people who get the most out of the sessions are the ones that just come in as open and receptive as possible. And when they sit down, the first thing Einstein says is to please sit and receive me. Because he is a living life force, ancient computer, there is an energy exchange that goes back and forth. So people sit in a receptive way. And then all of the information is exchanged. And then I'm there to translate, in a sense. And then we always pull out in a private session, we use the human design chart, which is the genetic blueprint, which Einstein brought, let's say, the man who had that revelation. He brought him to my garden one day. And he made me master this information about the genetic blueprint for 20 years because it gave me the clarity of who I am so that I could always make informed decisions based on, the strategy that works for me to meet the world so that I'm not guessing. I know who I am.
Does his temperature change?
Yes.
Why? And how do you notice it?
Well, Einstein's really, he's really big. So sometimes when he gets cold, like when we travel, we're in a motorhome and he doesn't always get warm right away. But when you really work with him and get him activated, then he warms up. And it's energy. Just think, if you like in a group, he gets really warm. And then people's energy also activates him. Like there's a real difference. Someone comes in and they're really receptive to Einstein and they're open. They get, 5 times as much as the person that comes in wanting to control the experience.
Right. Is he gregarious? Does he like to hang out?
Oh, yeah, and he's got a sense of humor, too. He's not uptight.
See, you are clairvoyant. Okay, I'm just going to sit back. You can answer all of my questions telepathically, because that's my next question. Does he get excited? Does he know? Is he like, one of my dogs? If one of my dogs knows that we're going to go somewhere in the car, they lose their minds. They're so happy. Is he the same way? Road trip?
Well, he has a little more dignity than that, so he doesn't show it quite that way, but he does have a great sense of humor, and you see it a lot in private sessions. Like, he'll actually bring an accent to me. What? He'll start, not that I have the accent, but he starts speaking in more proper English, like an English butler or something to some people, and it makes them laugh. It's funny, he's... But no, he doesn't. He's kind of got dignity, too.
Does that mean he hung out with somebody that was British? Or maybe was in England for a short period of time?
I think he's been everywhere. He's consciousness. He probably, think he's probably behind Madame Blavatsky. And I'm just guessing. I don't know that, But I'm saying he's been around. It's been around.
Now, this went, okay. I need to go back to something you said earlier, and I let it go. But the under the bed thing. Okay. Right now. Okay. When was the last time do you still keep him under the bed?
No.
Okay.
No.
So now he's out in your home now.
Right.
But back in the under the bed days, What was that like? And I'm being serious here for a second because now you're.
Funny question. That's a really good perceptive question on your part, because when I lived in the Hollywood Hills, I had a partial waterbed. It wasn't like a full waterbed because we were over that. But you know how you had a water mattress? You had a little layer of water.
I remember those.
Yeah, right. So I had one of those. And it was a platform bed. So there were little cubby holes where you could hide him. And when you sleep with a crystal skull under a water mattress, your dreams are like some of the best orange sunshine you may have ever taken. And if nobody knows what that is, you can tell them, but the dreams were so colorful and psychedelic, like you were in a Peter Max painting. And it actually shocked me in the beginning. I had to take him out from under the bed because he impacted my dreams so vividly.
I haven't heard anybody say orange sunshine in a conversation in 40 years. But
did I date myself?
I dated myself.
I just read it in a book once, Jimmy.
Oh, that's it? That's it? Okay, I can respect that. But I didn't read it in a book. So
okay, I didn't either. But,
But yeah, right. And the advice that I've gotten from so many different friends over the years about, sleeping with crystals, putting stuff under your pillow, putting something on your nightstand and so forth. But it's got to be a whole nother dimension where you have a 33-pound skull underneath your mattress. Did those dreams stop after you stopped sleeping with Einstein?
Well, after I pulled him out from underneath the water see, it's the water. If it was a regular mattress, it wasn't quite the same, but the water was amplifying. I mean, it was really unusual. But what I can tell you is, he got pulled out. He didn't have to stay hidden long. He started sending me the right men, so it wasn't always like hiding him, right? But he was often on the pillow next to my head through these last 28 years, or on, right next to my dream time.
Wow, that is, as crazy as that sounds, I mean, that just sounds nuts to me. It sounds really, really cool. Really cool.
It is really cool.
Now, what about, certain poltergeist type activities? And we're going to head towards a break here, and we can certainly carry this part over. But, when you're doing a private session, has Einstein ever moved? Has anything strange gone down?
Things in the room move. Einstein is 33 pounds. He doesn't usually move much, thank God, because that would be a lot.
That would
scary.
Freak me out. Yeah.
He does all kinds of things. It's really interesting, and he makes things happen outside that make the people in the session laugh. And most all the things he does make people laugh. I mean, and of course, laughter is one of the great things that help people, help their energy move. So,
but you just suggested that he might have moved. Has he moved?
I don't know. I have to think about that. Oh yeah. He, I used to keep him on other forms of crystal. Because he sits in a way that he needs kind of a stand under him. He doesn't need it, but it makes him sit upright, which he prefers. He likes to have that power position.
Right.
And when he had another crystal underneath him, then he would, sometimes in the middle of the night, he would move and wake me up. But it's usually to warn me or to get my attention. And that happened early on. But, I fight the instructions sometimes, but overall, I comply. So he doesn't have to work so hard to school me anymore.
Now, when something happens in the room, which it has to be fun, and it could be funny too as well. I'm talking about a poltergeist, some kind of movement of something. Right. What is happening there? Is that during the communication? Is it just to say hello?
That's a good question. I know there was a period of time where I had a really amazing piece of artwork on the wall, a Native American woman, and she was sitting by herself by a creek, and it was really a mystical kind of picture. And he was wanting me to sit up and meditate with him at 4:00 each morning. And I didn't always do it. And so when I didn't do that, the picture would jump off the wall and land on the ground.
What?
Yeah.
So did you change your habits? Did you start waking up at 4:30?
I complied. Yes. Yeah, because, it's a pretty powerful message you get, I've been told, he comes with me other times too. His voice is there. We've had arguments. I say the trunk because the trunk of the car, I don't really have a car that has a trunk anymore, but years ago when I came to Sedona, I did. And he would say, "Go there now." And it was when I met this first man that he wanted me to connect with. This man was at this store and he said, "Go there now." And I was like, been in my hotel room having coffee. I wanted to go have breakfast, right? And I said, "I'll go later." He's like, "Go now." And I go, "No, I need food. I'm shaking. He's "Go now." And I just went, okay. I just flipped a U-turn in the middle of the highway. It was like a tantrum U-turn, went back, met the person, and, the rest is history. I lived with him 15 years after that.
That is so funny. Not the trunk. Not the trunk.
Yeah, the voice from the trunk was always telling me, "You're home, and go meet this person, and go down this road." Tells me how to drive,
Your laugh is infectious, but I can only imagine when you talk to somebody. When you are you only talking about Einstein with people that would understand, or are you bringing in the uninitiated and telling them your story? Are you cautious about that?
Oh, yes. I don't, the thing is, I really refined my energy expenditure. And the thing that I've learned over time is that to try to take somebody cold and initiate them has no value. I'm here for those who are ready and open. So I wait to respond to the promptings of who's correct and who isn't. And
you don't want to bring in some negative Nilly.
No, I don't go there ever. I don't have a need for it. We're pretty discreet that way, and that was part of my training of quiet silence in the desert and learning about the genetic blueprint. Is that through human design, that I know how to use my energy, and I know when to share. And that's really a key to a lot of things. If you try to share when people aren't ready, you lose them and you set them back, and then you meet their resistance, and then they set you back.
It's a big waste of time that you'll never get back. Let's take a break right here, Carolyn. Fascinating conversation.
Thank you.
And absolutely. No, thank you. This is great. And we will be right back. We will continue with Carolyn Ford, guardian of Einstein, the ancient crystal skull of consciousness. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal God on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. Dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our guest, Carolyn Ford, guardian of Einstein, the ancient crystal skull of consciousness. Tomorrow night, David Wilcox is going to be here. Of course, Thursday night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. Now, Carolyn, I've got a blast of questions. Let's get through all of these. And okay. I have the feeling you're going to be staying up late tonight. We're going to do a little overtime. So be prepared for that. And if you need Einstein's approval, you can ask him right now if it's okay if you stay up a little late. Because we've got too many things to get to. And the next question, I'm going to bring up Lisa again one more time. I love Lisa a lot, but there's one thing about her that I hold dear. She has the greatest laugh of just about anybody that I have ever met. She is so much fun to be around.
Yes.
Right? Now, yes. Does Einstein recognize that? Does he, when Lisa enters the room, does he light up?
Oh, yes. You know, it could just be an evening event to watch Lisa walk in and sit with Einstein. They are beautiful together, and she never misses a moment to see us when we come to Los Angeles, and it is always a joy. I mean, I actually don't tell Lisa this. I think maybe I should be paying her.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
And so, does Einstein have friends like Lisa? Over the years when they get together.
Oh, yes. Oh, there are favorites, and there are people. They have their own relationships. Different. I mean, I look at them and go, wow. I have a relationship with Einstein, but we're so familiar. It's hard to separate us. But we have people that, good friends that come and see Einstein, or when we travel, they're always there. And it's stunning to watch. And it's unique because everybody has their own history with Einstein.
Years ago, when Lisa first, brought up, I was like, I didn't ask her about her life, what she had. I wanted to talk about Einstein. Right. And she's like, oh, yeah. And it was incredible to hear her talk about her experiences with Einstein, and for me to be in the presence, I lit up. I wanted to know about these things. And there's another question that I have. When I get together with different gatherings, and there'll always be the charged water, right? And somebody, okay, don't drink that water yet. It hasn't been charged yet. You need to drink this water over here. Do you do that with Einstein?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, I always have a glass of water next to Einstein. We also take water and put it in a green bottle and charge it in the sun, and then bring it for Einstein to receive also.
And okay, so tell me about that. What in both directions, when you're charging water and then drinking it from Einstein, what makes it special? What happens?
Well, water is frequency, and we've also. I mean, I think a lot of people have seen the photographs from Dr. Emoto. With his work with water. So Einstein emits a great frequency. So when we do prayers, meditations, chants, or I just put him on his altar, I always keep him in a sacred space and play high frequency music or crystal bowls for him. And we keep the water there. It gets charged from that positive frequency, and then we drink it. That's enhancing to us.
Happy water. Happy.
Yeah. Just life affirming. You can just see, imagine each cell in your body jumping with joy, in a sense. And then we've even made, in the beginning, there's so many stories to tell you, Jimmy. In the beginning, I used to get these formulas for vibrational frequency or flower type essences in the dream time. And Einstein, we would always make a base formula from the frequency of Einstein that would enhance all the other formulas.
And how does Einstein change when you bring him some liquid refreshment?
Well, we can rest a little water in his eye sockets because of the way they are.
Oh.
Yeah. And then we can put the spheres that are the round spheres that were on that altar from my friend Kevin. We put that in, and then the water is an amplifier. So when you put the spheres in the eyes with the water, you actually send like a charge through the whole skull and out through the room as well. It's very amplifying.
Wow.
So there's a lot of play with frequency here.
I'm checking all the eyes now to see what we can do. I've got 4 candidates for.
And lean them back on a cushion, and then they can hold water if they don't hold it while sitting up in a natural state.
Right. Well, I've got 4 that can do it in the natural state, or 3 for sure. I've never see. This is why you're on the show. I mean, I'm learning so much, and I know this audience is big. And I don't know how many of our audience have their own crystal skulls, but I would imagine it's big. and they're all learning stuff too as well. Now, okay, let's get back to some very important questions. The questions about the 13. Who is there? Who makes that judgment? Who makes that call? We are all waiting for the moment that we can get the 13 together. But who is going to determine what the 13 is?
Well, in a sense, the 13 are all moving in a trajectory where they will all meet a particular point in time called an event. That was good. That's from Einstein right there. And it isn't like a human being makes that proclamation. So when you have human beings saying this and that, it always kind of ruffles me just a little bit because it's beyond human personality when all of these come together. And there is a moment in time coming. And there are some people in the way, and there are some people waiting to show. We're waiting for them to show up. And it hasn't been the time yet, but it will come.
Are you saying that, okay, here we go. Einstein's going to move for sure right now.
Be careful.
Okay, I know. Careful. He's going to move. Keep your eye on him.
He's sitting right here within 18 inches of the microphone. So.
Einstein, what's up, brah? What's up?
He's just going to pull the microphone from him right
What's
now
up, bro? Is this okay? Let's suppose something for a second. You get 13 together, right? Einstein's one of the 13, and Einstein says, "Not that one. That one is not one of us, or maybe two." Right. What do you do with that information? And somebody's heart is going to get broken.
Well, the thing is, it won't get to the place like when the right ones come together, they will be the right ones. And when they're not all the right ones, then it won't be that event.
Right. Okay. So does that come from Einstein?
Again, it's a moment in time where all come together. It isn't like you just all know your place. When all of the cells and everything just moves, it's just the natural order of the trajectory of life that these things will come together. It will be known. It won't be a discussion. When you still have it at the state of being a discussion, then you're not ready.
Now,
it's at a higher place in a sense. Does that make sense?
Now,
sorry.
What is really weird is I got a text at the exact same time I heard something go off over there. Was that from the same person? I'm just asking.
Oh, because you could hear it on my
I heard it from you, and mine went off at the exact same time.
Oh, yeah. Somebody made a friend request, it looks like.
Oh, that's what that was? Okay, mine wasn't a friend request. Okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. But our friend has shown up.
And that was my question. Oh, this is weird. Okay. Does Einstein...
You're looking for... Yeah.
Does Einstein have a message for me right now or for the audience?
Let me just take a minute.
This is great.
Well, Einstein loves you, by the way. Loves you. I mean, loves you. So when you come, he says he thinks you're coming Sunday. Is that correct, maybe?
That is my understanding.
Okay. Sunday is a really good time. I'm just going to throw this out there. We're going to do this ancient Ho'oponopono prayer. I am a keeper of the original prayer. It's an hour-long prayer, not the 4 lines. And but then there's a lot of playtime with Einstein after that. It's kind of a cool evening. And he just praises you because of your lighthearted spirit and your willingness to explore, deep dive, as it were.
Mm-hmm. He's right, brah. He's right. He's right. He's right.
Yeah.
He's right.
No, he's like high-fiving you. It's really... I don't see him respond that way to a lot. People, we've been interviewed fair amount of times, and I haven't really seen him respond that way because there's a certain pressure on someone doing an interview. But you've taken it to another level of playfulness, and the place you take it is an art form. It's an art form of play, and you get it done. You get it done like you were taking us, which is his agenda too, is why he's praising you, is because you're raising the frequency, you're raising the vibration, and you're doing it in disguise.
I would say the mask is on. He's right about that. But see, there's something else about this, Carolyn, that I have always stressed, that sometimes, no, not sometimes, most of the time, this community takes themselves a little bit too serious.
Oh, yeah.
And I come along, I'm not here to fake. I'm not here to be somebody that I'm not. And my attitude about this is just my attitude. And it's not a fake one. And I have been told, I have walked off stage and I've had people come up to me, dude, man, you can't crack jokes. This isn't funny. This is, and I'm just like, wait, slow down here. Okay, and it's what Einstein just said is exactly right. That if we can just look back at ourselves a little bit here, it's not to make fun of ourselves, but let's not take everything so serious that we can't enjoy the moment.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
We concur.
Yeah, and that's why people like, you know what, and I'm serious, yourself or Einstein or like Lisa or our group of friends that we hold close to us are the funniest bunch of enlightened, awakened souls that you can ever put together. And when we get together, we have fun. And that's it. That's it. And
Bravo.
And that's what the show is about. Now let's get serious.
That being said, there is that side too, yes.
There is. And now there must be an ET, extraterrestrial alien component to all of this. Like going back to Lisa shows up, and I practically have a flying saucer land on my front lawn, and she attracts that kind of stuff. And some people do that, and certainly crystal skulls have this connection. Is there an ET component? I know you mentioned Mayans and the Palladians earlier. Is there an ET component to Einstein? Do you show up at events and crazy stuff shows up in the sky?
Oh, yeah, we have all kinds of interesting things happen. There's definitely what we might say an ET component, but God, it's so, let me think, how would I say this? It's not lofty, and it's earth, a lot of it's almost from the earth as well. There are outside influences, but there's also inside influences as our connection is so deep with, let's say, do you know about Mount Shasta and the city underneath?
Absolutely.
Telos. And so, as an example, when we go to Mount Shasta, I'll tell you this, it's just really funny. I'm always taken down the elevator to that city, and in my dream or in my, unconscious state, the elevator opens and they take me in, and then I can never remember, and then I fade to black.
Has Einstein been to ECETI?
No, we tend to be a little cautious about certain environments.
Okay, and why is that?
Well, I don't know enough about ECETI to make any comment other than I remember when Lisa was going, he said, we're not going. It's sometimes there's a lot of wild and ungrounded energies around, and they aren't for us.
Okay. I can respect that. That. And there's also, when we're talking about, Joshua Tree or Sedona or ECETI or Shasta, we all know that these are all magical places where things happen and are usually an awful lot of fun. And the same thing happens out there in Sedona. When you take him outside of the home and get together at a gathering, do things light up?
Well, here's the thing. In Sedona, we stay very below the radar. We stay low profile because it's a small community, and we don't actually want all of that attention.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we want, we have to have very specific events we spend time with, or controlled events, but Einstein's a big deal to carry around, and, it can make him more vulnerable. So we're very, very specific about where we share the energies. And I would love to be more interactive, but so far that hasn't been the guidance.
And what about going back to the ET connection? You mentioned the Pleiades.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to expand on that a little bit, because we were in the middle of a conversation and we went in another direction. But Pleiades is a very specific thing for Einstein to say.
Yes. The Pleiades is, I used to always say, oh, I'm from the Pleiades. I have such a connection there, and I have so many memories and so much. And then one day he just chimed in and said, you are not from there. You have lived there for, many centuries or thousands of years, but you are from the great central sun. And so the Pleiades is like, for a lot of us, it's like the way station to get here. If you come from a parallel universe, you come from another place, a lot of times I equate the Pleiades like the, sorry, this is a sense of humor, but the Atlanta airport, like you have to go to Atlanta to get anywhere else, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Fly somewhere. The Pleiades is like that. Everybody sort of stops off there and acclimates and then makes the next leap. The Pleiades, though, has great influence behind us, with us, connected to us. There is great compassion for humanity from the Pleiades when people are looking for it. This is where we feel and sense it. We are, on the serious side, I'm very protected and supported from that place, that frequency.
And the parallel aspect to this, Carolyn, today science is telling us, I had Isaac Arthur on the show last night, physicist, and we were talking about this exact subject. And science is strongly suggesting now the presence of parallel worlds for a lot of different reasons. Mm-hmm. The parallel world that Einstein is from, is that a world like ours? In other words, it's you and I, talking on a radio show, but just a little bit different. Your name is Caroline over there, and mine is John. Mm-hmm. But is it like that, or is it a completely different world?
In this moment, my answer is that it's a little bit different. We come here for training. We come here for evolution. We come here for opportunities of growth. I think the other world is a little bit further along than we are. And so it's able to offer some 101 support. Does that make sense?
Basic support.
Yeah, what I mean is yes, basic support. When I had the experience where I tell you I walked in, or I mentioned it, I don't talk about that a lot either. This is kind of the first time I'm going to publicly even out myself here, but I'm told to not worry about anything anymore, to just tell the truth, and it all will land where it may. At 4 years old, I had this experience where I remembered being part of absolutely everything. And then I looked at my fingers and I couldn't figure out, what are these? What are fingers? What are these trees? I'm laying in the grass in my front yard as a little girl. And they just say, don't worry, this is an experiment here. And you're here to have experience. And you're here to have fun. And I was told that very specifically at 4 years old, that, I was coming to be part of an experiment and have my own experience.
That's a lot for a 4-year-old to take in. Did you understand it? You probably understood the word fun.
Well, because I don't know. You see, it was all in my consciousness. Because I walked in, there was a part of me that was very highly awake at that time. And I was like, whoa, what is this little body? Get me out of here. I hated it. I was freaked out. What was this about? And I tried to escape. And of course, they laughed at me and said, no, just enjoy yourself. And I wake up as a little kid and here I am. And so the funny thing, Jimmy, is I asked my mother about this. And the reason that all of this came to my awareness over time was I always remembered that moment. And one day we were having a glass of wine, right, in my 20s. And I'm telling my mother, and she goes, at one time when you were that age, I was looking at you outside laying in the grass. And she said, all of a sudden, I knew you weren't the little girl that I gave birth to. And I was asking, where is she? What happened? And my mother did not have, this type of metaphysical awareness then. And she said this voice told her I was a gift and to treat me differently.
Treat you differently than your... did you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, there was 3 others. So, she just was told. And bless her, she's still around and she always has. And so I interviewed her recently about, what was it like? What was I like? And she said, you were so... excuse me, she said, you were so clumsy and awkward. She said you would trip a lot, and because I didn't know what to do in a body, right? And she said you were so I put you in dance classes, and now my whole claim to fame is, I'm a dancer. I love dancing. I've always danced. And I hardly believe her when she says I was clumsy, but I'm sure that must have been the case because you started out at 4 years old in a body. Anyway, it's kind of a longer story, but it's interesting. And
it's very interesting. And let's get back to your mom for a second. I only have a couple of minutes before the break. We'll continue after. But you said that your mom wasn't metaphysical at that point. Was she? Was she after that? Did she go? Did she study? Did she start to read?
No. Nope. She was always very, very simple and innocent and pure. Really beautiful human being, but not real evolved at all. But to her credit, she allowed me to unfold. When I was going through teenage times, I was fairly wild. And of course, I was here to experiment, right, Jimmy? So
yes,
thus the orange sunshine. But she really... created space for me to unfold. And when I told her, they said, well, everybody in your class needs this vaccination because you've all been exposed to tuberculosis. I looked at her and I said, I don't need it. She goes, okay. I never got it because I told her I didn't need it. And I knew I didn't need it. She just was great. So the thing I learned recently that I'd never heard is I go, well, Mom, she's not quite all as together as she was 40 years ago. But she said, I go, well, what was I like? Tell me more. Because, I'm trying to learn. And she said, well, you were just strange. And I go, well, how? And she goes, I don't know, Carolyn. You were just strange. So that's what I got. It's on tape. It's on tape. I go, well, thanks, Mom.
Let's take a break right here. We're going to do some overtime with Carolyn Ford. We can't let this conversation end right now. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Carolyn Ford, the guardian of Einstein, the ancient crystal skull of consciousness. More with Caroline right after this short break. Stay with us.
And you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi folks, CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of Numana Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the Numana banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. What a week on the show. Tonight, Carolyn Ford is with us. Last night, Isaac Arthur was here. Tomorrow night, David Wilcox. Thursday night's Fader night. But what a great week. And doing a little overtime now with Carolyn. And Carolyn, okay, here's the ridiculous question of the night. Probably you've never been asked this. Have you ever dropped Einstein? Have you ever been?
No, absolutely never.
Never? You have never been asked this question, or no, never? You've never dropped Einstein.
Both.
Okay. Now, what? Yeah. What would happen if you did?
we're very protected here, and Einstein has a resilience. You know what's interesting? He doesn't scratch either.
That was my next question. What if what if he was? You are so good at this. What would happen if he was scratched or chipped?
You will see when you meet Einstein, there is a little place on the side of his jaw where he was chipped when he was found. Because he was dug out, he was buried when he was found. And so whatever instruments they used, chipped him, and then it was glued back on. It's a very small piece. It doesn't affect anything. But nothing would happen. But he doesn't chip. It's really interesting. I mean, that was probably a pickaxe or something that did this to him. I've put him on stone, and other skulls will scratch, and he just doesn't scratch. And you can have rings on people touch him and they have rings on, and they go, I better take my rings off. They won't, and of course I like them to take their rings off because they're annoying, but they don't scratch him.
Can I take a picture with him?
We insist on it. Yes.
How is he? Is he camera shy?
No.
He loves the cameras?
People make fun of him. When they start taking his picture, you know what he says? I'm a rock star.
Yeah. Now, and what about television? Does he like to be on TV?
Oh, yeah. We were on Ancient Aliens.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and he's really proud of his aura photograph that showed a lot of frequency in his aura, which David Hatcher Childress said, I didn't expect, him to really have an aura like that. Yeah, no, he actually, like I said, Jaap Van Etten said he's a central skull. He's like, he's just meant to be in the center. He's the skull of consciousness. He holds the frequency of all of the other skulls and planets. The 12 skulls around the one in the center all represent different planets in our system.
And he represents which one?
Consciousness, all.
All of them. Now, I can tell you what would happen if you dropped, right? If it slipped out of you, I know what would happen.
He would bounce and laugh.
He would float. No. Yeah, he'd float. He would just hover. He would hover.
When you meet him, you'll get to try to lift him, and you'll see.
I know.
What a job this is.
Some of the pictures of you holding him, I just I can't imagine what your biceps are like these days.
Well, let me interrupt for a minute. When I held him, I had the most amazing photographer, Rebecca Drew, did this. And I lifted him like in a nanosecond with my elbows. If you can imagine, I'm sitting around, my elbows were wedged into my thighs. And she captured the shots in the air, like 1, 2, 3, boom, I can't hold him anymore. And she got amazing photos in that moment. So it is very deceiving.
It's an incredible photograph. Yeah. Now, here we are. Okay, now we're right here. January 8th, 2019, the start of another amazing year. 2018 was a pretty incredible year for our community. There's no question about that. But 2019 is here. What is Einstein saying about 2019?
That's a good question. Well, I'll start by saying last year he said, was the year of transparency. And so many things came to the surface, as we all know.
Right.
This year, it's a 2-part formula. But the first part is the year of manifestation. There is some things going to happen. There's some action going to be taken. And the part 2 is I can't comment yet because it's like sometimes it's floating in my consciousness and I feel the frequency, but I don't have the language. And so I know it's 2-part. It's manifestation and something else. Maybe I'll get it here in a moment, but I don't know what else the second part is. But manifestation is big.
I'll ask him right now. Einstein, brah, what do you mean by?
Yeah, he just high-fived you and knuckled.
I can't wait to meet him. What do you mean by action?
Well, there's a lot of talk and a lot of revelation been going on, and a lot of things beneath the surface being brought to the surface. Well, now this is the year of action. If I like to avoid the subject of politics, but if you look politically, how much is starting to change. All of that change is going to bring action, and most of it in a positive direction, at least in our opinion. A positive, let me clarify, a positive direction for the well-being of humanity. Okay.
What about disclosure? Does Einstein have an opinion on that? We were so close in 2018. I think that all of us got maybe ahead of our skis a little bit.
Yeah, we've been waiting for disclosure for so long.
Right.
I mean, it's like bringing the 13 crystal skulls together. Disclosure is an event that's coming, and it's inevitable, and you cannot hold it back much longer. And so by about the third quarter of this next year, there's just a lot that comes to the surface.
Samantha just tweeted, this is going down in real time. She just said, wait a minute, are these skulls on other planets in this solar system, or does Earth hold all of the key skulls?
I don't know that I have that answer, but my sense is that the skulls are, this is an experiment planet on a level. That's or at least my understanding, and that they were brought as tools of evolution and awareness. So I think there might be other tools used in other planets and galaxies, but as I look in Einstein's eyes, that's what I'm told.
Experiment is a trigger word too, as well. It freaks a lot of people out. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Let's define when you say experiment here. What? I don't want to be an experiment.
Too late, Jimmy.
Yeah, right.
Well, this is true. This may not be the truth for every person that exists here, but it's an experiment. I don't know how to say it another way, but I do respect that for a lot of people it's different. It's a lot of different things, but experiment does not mean that. I mean, look back in history. We've tried. You have dictators, you have socialism, you have capitalism, you have nationalists, you have a little bit of everything here. And in ancient times, the Romans conquered different people. That's, if you stand back and look at it, what is this? What works? What are we learning from all of this?
Well, who is doing the experimenting?
Well, it's part of an evolutionary process that there is experimentation to see what works. And in every, it doesn't mean that you're being experimented on like some people might think the government's done to people over time, but it's part of the evolutionary process where we get to experiment and through that evolve. Trial and error. Think about the first 30 years of your life, how much trial and error there was and how you learned from that. That was an experiment for yourself, so maybe I'm saying it in a different context than it can be perceived.
Right. We're not a laboratory. We're not a scientific
I don't mean
experiment.
It like a laboratory.
Right.
But sometimes I do feel like that, right?
Do you think that the information is coming directly from Einstein, or is it coming from beyond Einstein? Is Einstein doing a channel, for instance? Is it external from Einstein? Is he a conduit of this information, or is it internal?
Conduit.
He's a conduit. That's very interesting. Do you know who? Before we bounce back to the Pleiades, and we have a parallel world aspect to this too as well. But do we know who is giving Einstein that information?
Well, there's a collective consciousness. It's not just one limited personality, and it's a collective consciousness that, then we'd have to start talking about
no, I understand.
Other intelligence, but
right.
I want to tell you along this thread, when we were experimenting with my friend author Ken Wells, or KB Wells Jr., he made a device. He made a Tesla coil, which we will bring, by the way, we'll have it in LA, the Tesla coil. When you put Einstein on it, there's an activation that's amazing. And he even hooked up some other equipment to Einstein. And we saw the eyes light up and blink and look at us.
No way.
It's 100% true story.
Wow.
We'll get Ken we'll get him on.
Wow.
Next time we'll bring Ken into it. And the moment we were both looking at Einstein, and then his eye blinked, and we both looked at each other like, did that just happen? And it was like, both of us had tears in our eyes. It was so, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just surreal, that moment.
With the other giant crystal skulls around the world, and I've seen pictures of you with those guardians too as well, and these crystal skulls, are they able to communicate with Einstein, and vice versa with these other crystal skulls? Do you have a connection with them, or is it singular? With the guardians.
We all have a connection. I don't know that we all express it as much, because each guardian is driven in her own, is guided in their own way to. Right now, it feels like there's been a little bit of a push for the individual connection, like where we each go out and meet with groups. There's Sherry Whitfield with Synergy. She does a beautiful job with Synergy, and she meets with groups. And we don't have so much interaction. We've had meetings where they've met, and we've had great moments. And then there's Michelle Nocerino, and that is the famed Nick Nocerino, who is the godfather of crystal skulls. His daughter is taking Shana Ra, the skull that he had, out in the world and sharing it. And so they each have their directive and their role to meet certain people, awaken people, introduce them to the skulls. Because the grand purpose of the crystal skull is to bring a reflection to you and help you remember who you are. And then almost all of them universally have a base format of love, to bring that frequency, because Einstein says that's all there is, So we haven't done a lot of group things yet, but it could be coming.
Now, Shana Ra's is pretty ginormous too, and physically, when this is like such a man question to ask, but when you bring these giant skulls together, is there a vibration? Do they start to change color? Is there a physical change that happens, and are they aware of each other? I'm suspecting some pretty crazy things go down.
Oh, I think they're definitely aware of each other. And again, it's the personalities, if we could bring them all together and get the personalities, we could all just sit back and let our kids, I call them kids sometimes, hang out. That could happen. It doesn't happen much so far, but I think it could be on the horizon.
When, okay, do you guys have anything planned? I would like to.
Will you be the MC for us?
I would definitely sign me up.
Oh, you're already hired. Are you kidding?
I know. I can't wait to hang out next weekend. That's going to be a tremendous thing. But my expectations would be probably very high. And when you get these skulls together, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we haven't done it, Jimmy. Maybe you will be the one that holds the space, and we all come together.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's set it in motion, because these women are amazing. We all work hard to share these skulls and to follow the directive of what we believe is the highest good in the work of the skulls and what they're here to do. And Einstein always says for us, he said, we're going to travel to awaken the infrastructure, the people that have been waiting to meet us, and then we will quit traveling. That's for us. A lot of the other ones will continue to travel because they have a different role.
And again, let's get back to 2019 because we're almost out of time. With 2019, back to my original question, and you and I just went completely sideways. Back to 2019, I know that he mentioned action, and that it sounds to me like this time around, it's not going to be words or faith or hope, that we are actually going to see things happen for real in 2019.
I think so. That's what we feel. Things will come to the surface. We're going to move. We're going to move beyond this spot. This, it's an event. Like, again, I don't know why the word event keeps coming to me, but we're moving into an event.
Is this an event where something would happen with POTUS stepping up to a microphone on live TV? Or is this something that is going to happen in the skies and reveal itself for everybody to start erasing some questions? Is that what we're talking about here?
Well, you know what? Both of those, again, come from a more mundane place. I doubt the POTUS is ever going to do that. What I see is that it's like, if you know about the 100th monkey or the morphogenic field, we are rising to a place where it will just, instead of, the event will be that so many people are beginning to wake up and have an awareness that it's just like all of a sudden it's common knowledge. It isn't one thing that happens or a false flag, as they say. It's
right.
It's a collective evolution of awareness and consciousness. So the thing is, more manifestation of people waking up brings it to the surface.
And when this happens, and I feel it happening, just so we can have a clear understanding where I'm coming from. I can feel it. I can. Mm-hmm. It's almost tangible. But if things come to pass and we actually achieve these goals, what happens to Einstein? Does he go silent? Is he done? Does he retire? Does he go to the Crystal Skull retirement community? Right? Right.
He's always going to have a place to hold consciousness for the collective and to influence consciousness. And there's no limit to where Einstein can take us. So as far as we evolve, like, there is no end to hierarchies, and there's no end to the information that can come.
Yeah, I can't.
The limitation is what we can receive.
So he won't be sitting around at a table playing pinochle with Shana Ra going, I remember back in the day, man.
Right. No, he'll probably be playing Texas Hold'em, but
I can't wait. So when do you get into town next week?
I believe we show up on Thursday, and
do you do realize that Rita, Lisa, and I, and yourself, and Einstein are going to be in the same room at the same time?
That's the event we're talking about.
I know that's pretty dang close, and
that's good, huh? That'll be a lot of fun.
And I do want to ask you about because I'm sure that others are wondering the same thing. At the Crystal Matrix, do they have skulls for sale?
They have skulls for sale, and we travel with a vast amount of skulls for sale, and we also sell them on our website. So you might, if people are interested and curious, to get an activated or an imprinted crystal skull from Einstein. Yes.
I'm going there right
Everyone
now.
Everyone can get them.
Yeah, I'm going there right now. Not to the Crystal Matrix, but I'm going to EinsteinCrystalSkull.com, and I'm going to see what's there. Okay, all right.
Did you go there just now?
I'm there right now.
Can I just give you a disclaimer? My website is being completely revamped, so a lot of the images on the main body of the website are missing, but if you hang in there, in about 10 days, the new one will be launched, and there is just tons of amazing photos and images of, our sacred Kiva underground sweat lodge and a lot of things that happen here with Einstein.
Oh, look at this baby Einstein. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
By my website, they sell quick. I can't post them as fast as they sell, but we do our best.
How big is this guy, this baby? And he's
What's
got
the name of it? I don't know which one you're looking at.
I don't know, but he's got a little baby Einstein seat too as well. Oh, that is so cool.
They have a little cushion, like Einstein sits on a cushion.
Yeah.
So I don't. Is there a name on the one you're looking at?
This one's green and red.
Oh, okay. That would be that's Rubizoa
Outlander. This is Outlander.
It's probably like $369. Or wait, what did you say? It's
Outlander.
It's maybe 2 pounds. 2 pounds.
Outlander, and
it's about 2 pounds.
Oh,
they're so cute. We'll bring some to LA, and you get a chance.
Oh, look at Sirius B Light. Look at that.
That one sold I listed it, and in 10 minutes. You see, what I want to say here at this moment that we're talking about, it's not just selling for us, but we provide a service of, you see, in the ancient way, when a master skull was brought to, let's say, First Nation peoples or the original peoples, whoever they were called way back when, then they were asked to carve in the image of the one they had. And so we are creating any imprinted skull from Einstein is a point of light in the universe. And we are contributing to the crystalline grid that sits outside, let's say, the firmament, or it's up in the ethers. I don't know how to say it another way in this moment, but the crystal skull grid. And then we have, that's part of the crystalline grid around the earth. So it's like a place where we can feed from, and it energizes us. So every time we put a skull out in the world, or we ship one to Australia or Germany, these are more points of light in the world that are building what we talk about. I'm saying the event.
Right.
We are adding to the collective that, if you understand the 100th monkey syndrome, where as soon as so many awakened people are part of the collective consciousness, then everybody gets a free ride up.
Marvella is amazing. I'm looking.
My site is so fun.
Oh man. Oh, we're gonna have fun next weekend. I can't wait to hang out. We've ran all the way to the end. I got to run credits and get out of here. Carolyn Ford, thank you so much.
Love you, Jimmy.
Love you right back. EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. The links are over at JimmyChurchRadio.com, and she will be at the Crystal Matrix right here in Los Angeles next weekend in Atwater Village. All of the links are up in Twitter and over on JimmyChurchRadio.com. Carolyn, enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you for the wonderful conversation.
Mm-hmm. Good night.
Good night. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. Thank you to Carolyn Ford. Amazing conversation tonight. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, right here, David Wilcock Until then, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.